Basically, the amount goes out because I know stuff. Those documents, yeah. See where it pressed in lines. And then, you know, oh, that violent one. I know it is, but
All right, I think everything is. There, missed one button. All right, we have 3 calendars for this morning. Plea and arraignment that has a variety of things on it, an add-on calendar, and then we've got Miss Harley here for a plea. I don't see her lawyer, but I know she's here, so hopefully Ms. Kim will be joining us soon. We do have one person who is appearing from the Georgia Department of Corrections. I'm wondering if we could do that first, if they're actually connected, and I think they are. Yep, Dooley State Prison. It's Mr. Nelson. Anyone want to tell me where in the calendar that is? Thanks. There it is. So that is an arraignment, and we have his lawyer on as well. So why don't we knock that out? And then we'll go in the regularly scheduled order, if that's all right with everyone. Mr. Olaloye, can you hear us?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to add you to the spotlight. I can see you too. I'm going to add your client. He is right there. And let me look at the charges. Ms. Dilligard, will this be your case?
Yes, Judge, it will be.
All right, let me add Ms. Dilligard so everyone can see everyone. It's really more Ms. Nix, but she's going to move that screen, I'll bet you. All right, Mr. Nelson, are you able to hear me? You're frozen in a smile. Starting to get a little creepy now. Are we okay down at Dooley?
I was talking to them via chat, so everything was good, I guess, up until they just moved the camera, but we were communicating via chat, Your Honor, so
okay.
Connected.
They may have a quick hiccup. There we go. Something's changing. Let's try again.
There it is.
Mr. Nelson, can you hear us? Normally we have very good GDC links. Maybe there's a little hiccup in Dooley today. We'll cover this with your client, but Mr. Olaloye, have you filed a waiver of arraignment, or what was it we were going to do today?
Your Honor, I can't file one. I was going to do it on the record mainly because I hadn't met Mr. Nelson, given that he was in DOC. So I was able to give them my number, but I will waive it on the record. And if the court wants me to also file a waiver, I'll do that as well, Your Honor.
Yeah, we have a paper version that has a way to, it locks you in as counsel of record. There's a little box to check to indicate that you are opting into discovery. So Ms. Dilligard will send you everything she's obligated to. But I can have Ms. Nelson, my litigation manager, send you that waiver of arraignment form. You're clearly in the system. Oh, you did an entry. I said you filed your entry way back just before, in 2023.
Yes,
So you've had this case from when it was a complaint, I guess. Yes. And then it took a year to indict it. Now it's indicted, and here we are.
Yes, sir. And I've waived in via my entry, but would you like for me to fill out the paperwork that you're gonna send and just waive it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. No
Mr.
problem.
Nelson, are you able to hear us now?
Yes.
Great, and I can hear and see you. You don't have that frozen grin on you, which is good. So Mr. Nelson, you're charged with aggravated assault and a few other things that I think relates to something that allegedly happened at Rice Street at the county jail. Mr. Oloroye is your lawyer in this, and he simply wanted to make sure we were all on the same screen when he made clear to me that he was waiving your arraignment. And all that means is that he's entering a plea of not guilty for you. And assuming he's opting into discovery, he'll get the reports or whatever there is in the state's file so he can review that with you and make a reasoned assessment of what do we do in your case? Is this something we ought to try to work out or go to trial on? Are there motions I need to file? Whatever that might be. But he needs a chance to look through those materials, okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me, Mr. Nelson, what are you are in state custody for? What kind of charges are you in state custody?
Voluntary manslaughter.
Okay, and what's the length of your sentence as best you know?
I took 20-12.
Okay, all right. That's just helpful background for me. Mr. Ololoye, do you need anything else covered today?
I do not, Your Honor, and I have received the email. If I can just ask Mr. Nelson, did you get my number that I sent via the chat?
Yes, sir. I will be contacting you today.
Okay, perfect. Nothing else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Excellent. So you two, so Mr. Nelson and Mr. Ololoye will have a good phone conversation today. Mr. Nelson, the reality is, since you're in state custody, is that probably most of your interaction with your lawyer will be on a phone, or GDC can also set up private video teleconferencing, but it will be remote. If there's some reason why you two need to be in person, we can handle that in one of two ways. Either your lawyer comes to you or we bring you here. But the goal is to not disturb you where you are and to avoid an unnecessary transport. It's expensive, it's dangerous, and it's just better to leave you where you are. If we can work your case out, I'm fine taking a plea with you there, and your lawyer might be here in court, or he can be near his kitchen or wherever he's going to be, and that's fine with me. But ultimately, that's a discussion for you and your lawyer to have, and then he'll let me know what the plan is, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Dilligard, anything from the state?
Nothing further from the state. Thank you.
Anything else, Counselor, on behalf of Mr. Nelson?
Nothing else on behalf of Mr. Nelson, Your Honor.
Great. If you would file that waiver of arraignment, that'll get a scheduling order generated, which will give the state a deadline to get to you all the discovery. Hold on, Mr. Nelson, I'll get to you. A deadline to get discovery to you, and then a motions deadline for you. You don't have a motions deadline yet. Wait till you get that scheduling order, and that will let you know what it is.
Will do, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Nelson, you had a question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask my attorney what time was a good time to contact him.
Anytime. Anytime. I'm free
Okay.
today.
It's a good day for him, so you call him when you're able, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
All right, thank you, Ms. Willis, and the folks at Dooley for making the connection. You all take care.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my matters. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right. Wave and schedule. Great. Now back to the calendar. Position 1 is Quamaine Harris. Are you Mr. Harris? How do you say your first name? All right, there we go. Who is handling Mr. Harris's case?
I represent Mr. Harris and I did file a waiver.
Great. Do you need to speak with Mr. Harris more?
No.
All right, Mr. Harris, your lawyer already filed, you heard me talking with the gentleman on the screen about this waiver of arraignment. She already filed that for you, meaning she entered your not guilty plea. I'll be getting a scheduling order out soon that'll get discovery to your lawyer, and she will then want to meet with you to talk. You got a whole bunch of counts in your indictment. It came from non-complex, so it's been around for a little bit. Uh-oh, weird just happened on the screen. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my screen here. I'm gonna look at you. So your lawyer will get discovery, you guys will meet and figure out what you're gonna do next. Okay? I was gonna look up your case to see if you have bond conditions or anything like that. You have an ankle monitor? Okay, I wanna talk about that, but my computer just got unhappy. So how long have you had the ankle monitor? Are you paying for the ankle monitor? Okay, well, there's a payment. It's just not coming from you. But how, does that mean you've had it for 2 days, 2 months, 2 years? Okay. All right, take a seat. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with my computer, but we gotta touch base about the ankle monitor, okay? Tashia Bernard? Hello, Ms. Bernard. Good day. Who is representing Ms. Bernard? Okay. Ms. Cabrera. All right. I don't know that Ms. Cabrera can be here. My computer just came back to life. Hold on a sec. There's a polar bear on it. You can take, I don't mean to make you stand. Let me get this working again. The computer crashed as we were saying goodbye to Dooley State Prison. You can take, okay, I'm back on. Ms. Nelson, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Judge.
Great. I don't know what happened with the computer. Sorry about that. Let's get into. Ms. Bernard, have you talked with anyone about has any lawyer ever reached out to you? Okay. Oh, I see. There's the co-defendant, Michael Ross. He's in custody. Is that your case, Ms. Rios?
No,
Judge, I have
Oh,
that.
my gosh, there's so many. Okay. Do you have Amari Martin?
Yes,
Is Mr. Martin here?
yes.
Hey, Mr. Martin. All right. I'm not forgetting about you. I'm gonna come back to you as well. So we've got 3 co-defendants. Mr. Martin has Ms. Rios. Okay. So we need, and Mr. Ross, I've got an attorney listed here. No.
Judge, I had Ms. Cabrera as the attorney for Ross.
For Ross. Oh, yeah, look at that. She filed an entry. So we will need, there is a lawyer, Sydney Gibson is listed for,
Conflict, and it's usually when the cases go here, Ms. Cabrera gets them.
okay, is she conflict at, like first appearances?
She's
Yeah,
definitely a non-complex.
Oh, non-complex. Okay. So we may need to get, and Ms. Bernard, are you planning on hiring an attorney or do you need one appointed to represent you? Okay. Well, we're going to take care of that. We'll figure out who that will be, the lawyer who would typically handle a co-defendant when we've got 2 defendants. Here we've got 3. She's already representing one of the 3. So we'll get a different lawyer to represent you. Let me make sure we've got good contact info for you. And Mr. Martin, you can take a seat for a sec. I'll come back to you. So let's wrap up with Ms. Bernard. This got transferred here. Why? Because one of you has an older case. Okay. Do you have another case here? It's Ross? Okay. Ah, yes, he's got the older case. Thanks, Mr. Ross. That got us these cases. Okay. We do need to get you an attorney. Let me look at your bond. So you got a bond back in September. You're supposed to stay away from someplace on Peachtree? Okay, and stay away from your co-defendants. Okay, you're not related to them in any way? Okay, all right. And then let me also check the address we've got for you. I've got you on a Tartan Court in Union City. Is that a good address? You got something in the mail telling you to be here today? Or you just...
Yes, you did.
Okay, you are here with Ms. Bernard? Okay, and did it come to that Tartan Court address? Okay. Did you tell her she had to come to court today or? Okay, all right, so that's a good address. And is Ms. Bernard able to stay with you for the foreseeable future? Okay, great. Is that your mom? Any reason you're sitting 20 feet away from her?
I don't want to be there.
Okay, got it. You can sit anywhere you want in the courtroom. Just want to make sure it was an okay household for everyone. Ms. Bernard, if you wouldn't mind writing on this note card, a good email, oh, he's got it. That's Deputy Gordon, a good email address and phone number for you, because when we figure out who that lawyer is going to be, he or she needs to be able to track you down, and it's not going to be by mailing something to Union City. That person's going to want to call you or text you or something. So just put your name on there and then a good phone number. And then if you got an email address, an email address. Ms. Nelson, is Ms. Cabrera, as far as you know, still in trial in Douglas County?
Yes, and I know she does represent Mr. Ross.
Okay, and does she represent Mr. Ross on both his cases?
Yes.
And his other case has 2 defendants also.
Judge, I think that one actually pled recently.
We only pled one of his 2 cases?
Yes, Judge.
Why would Ms. Dilligard do that?
I think, was this one not,
This is a 24 indictment. Let's see.
I don't think that was assigned yet to Miss Euphemia.
is that the,
The time you took the plea.
Agathon?
Got it.
Was it Agathon with the knife?
Yeah, here's your right. On the 13th of January, we pled him out, reduced to disorder. You got one of your special deals. But Ms. Cabrera did it. I wonder why she didn't have, oh, well, here we are. She was the lawyer for that one too. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Bernard, you are free to go. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, then you should wait for outreach from the person who's going to be your lawyer. Thank you. Mr. Martin, let's take care of your situation. Thank you, sir. Let me make sure I can read this. Oops, she's gone. I can read it. That's fine. We're good. Bernard, position 2. All right, Mr. Martin, your lawyer is Ms. Rios.
Yes.
Right here. I don't see a waiver in.
I was actually about to file that right now. I didn't have contact with him before Corey did. I talked to him right before.
Great. No, I don't, it's fine that there's not one, but so you plan on waiving arraignment for Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Got it. Mr. Martin, that you've already heard me, well, you may have just come in, but anyway, that just means she's entering a plea of not guilty for you. And then I will enter a scheduling order, discovery, just if there's a police report in the case, if there's surveillance footage, whatever the state has, they're going to give that to your lawyer so you and she can look at it and figure out which way you are going to move forward. Let me look at your bond. Oh, you got a different bond. So you got to stay away from Ms. Bernard and Mr. Ross, and also away from a couple folks who are supposed to be the victims in this case, a Ms. Middleton and a Ms. Allen. But that's about it. No ankle monitor for you? Okay. Any questions about anything? How did you learn to be here today? I didn't ask that well. Did you get something in the mail telling you to be here today? Okay. Have you moved since you got your bond? You're in an apartment on Fairburn Road? What's the apartment number?
F8.
Ooh, all right. We're gonna want to change that because what's in the system, it says V as in Victor 8. But you're double F? That's a big old apartment complex. There's a building that's FF? Okay. So if you wouldn't mind, Deputy Gordon's going to get you a change of address form. Just write whatever your address is, all the way through, and we'll get this changed. It sounds like they were able to get it to you anyway, but what's coming from the court's going to say V8, like the engine, and not FF8. Okay? Ms. Rios, do you need to talk to Mr. Martin anymore? No? Ms. Dilligard, anything else on behalf of Mr. Martin?
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay. Can we bring Mr. Ross just to the door, please? And Mr. Martin, once you fill out that form and give it to Deputy Gordon, you're good to go unless you've got any questions. Okay. Hey, Mr. Ross, how you doing? I have not been all that long since I last saw you. Ms. Cabrera, who's your lawyer in this case, is in trial right now in Douglas County. So I'm going to talk with her about whether she's willing to file a waiver of arraignment in this case, which is just entering a plea of not guilty. And that'll, in fact, let me check while we're talking. She may have already done that. But if she hasn't, I'm going to see if she's willing to do that so we can move your case along. And we don't have to get stuck waiting on her. And she's got she already did. She filed a waiver of arraignment. So I'm going to do a scheduling order that'll get discovery. Thank you to her. She will meet with you. Tell me why you think you're wearing orange. Does that mean you're being housed at Cobb? So when I sentenced you about a month ago, there was some time involved. Are you still serving that time, or do you have another reason why you're in custody?
Even so, I got charged with 2 cases. So the first one was the aggravated assault. We'll discuss it into the other case.
Yep. So we still need to work this one out. Okay. She'll come see you and talk about whether this is one that should work out or should be a trial or who knows what. But she'll be in touch. And once she lets me know that we need to do something with the case, we'll bring you back. Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Harris, let's go back to your case since I can get in the system now. Any word, Ms. Nelson, on Judy Kim?
We're holding for her report, Judge. She was looking for a parking space.
Okay. She's going to be here in court?
Yes, she has the Zoom and said she'd be in person.
Got it. Okay. Holy smokes. So you got a bond, Mr. Harris, in October of 2022. You've been wearing an ankle monitor since then? Okay. So you supposedly have a curfew except for work, school, stuff like that. Is that curfew still in place? Where do you're wearing a vest that says to me you work? You own a tow truck company? All right, good for you. How many trucks? You own your tow truck. All right. And do you tow cars that you want to tow or that people say, hey, if this overstayed, it's welcome in my parking lot? Whatever someone needs. Got it. They call Harris Towing and you're there. What's your company called? All right. Ms. Rios, my thought is, and I'll hear from Ms. Dilligard, that we ought to remove the ankle monitor. It's been on for more than 2 years. And we have heard nothing from pretrial services or the ankle monitor company about any issues. He's been charging it. Mr. Harris has been charging it regularly, started up his own business. Doesn't mean he didn't get in a lot of trouble back whenever this happened, but it seems like the ankle monitor may have outlived its utility.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I don't know why I was saying it to you. You're not going to disagree. Ms. Dilligard, what are your thoughts about? Is there anyone you need to reach out to first? And by that, I don't mean supervisor. Not interested in that. This isn't a situation where Mr. Harris needed to stay away from an ex or something like that, where we'd be worried, I'd be worried about, well, wait, has he been bugging that person?
No, Judge, I don't believe that he knew any of the victims in the matter. And since he hasn't had any issues for 2 years, the state has no objection to removing his ankle monitor.
All right, so Mr. Harris, I'm going to enter an order that modifies your bond. It removes the ankle monitor and it gets rid of the curfew. That is not free reign to go do whatever you maybe did in this case. Okay, keep towing cars. Who's sitting next to you? Okay, and then just take care of your fiance. Don't do whatever was going on back in 2022. We still need to work through that. You just don't have to have the ankle monitor on. I'll enter the order. Ms. Rios can get you that order. You're going to need to present that to the monitor. They're not going to just because you tell them, hey, the judge said I could take it off. You'll need to show them the order that says the bond has been modified and the monitor can come off.
So, how long will it be?
I will take care of that order today or tomorrow. I'm going to be in court a bunch today, but if not, I'll do it tomorrow. It gets put in the system, and then Ms. Rios gets notification, hey, something happened in the Quamaine Harris case. And she'll look, oh, there's the order. And as long as she's got a good email address or text for you, she could send you that order, and then you can go to, it should now be Second Chance. They migrated. It used to be A&A, and it was Talent. Yeah, Second Chance. That's who it is now. That's who will be removing it. They will not come to you. They will tell you where to go. You go, you drive your big old truck there and get out, and they'll take that thing off. Okay. Your lawyer's going to get discovery. She'll want to meet with you about what's going on with your case, and I'll see you either for any motions or to see if the case has been worked out. All right. Any questions? Ms. Dilligard, anything else in the Harris case?
Nothing further, Judge.
Ms. Rios? Okay. Do you need Mr. Harris to stick around?
Contact, we have number, we changed numbers.
Okay. All right, Mr. Harris, you are free to hit the streets again. You too. Elijah Jackson. Is Ms. Wood online or are you covering everything?
I'm on, Judge. Good morning.
Hey, Ms. Wood, how are you?
I'm well, and my video is not working, so after this, I'll switch devices. But I do not have any contact number for Mr. Jackson, so he's not in the courtroom, correct?
He did not acknowledge, hey, Judge, good to see you when I called his name.
Okay, so yes.
So nope, he's not here. I'll call one more time at the end of the calendar, although we're half hour into it now. I'm just looking to see how old, he has an ankle monitor. That's odd. Okay. Oh, then there was an amended bond order, or if the ankle monitor came off. No, he supposedly is wearing an ankle monitor, which should make him easy to find. But if he doesn't show up, Ms. Dilligard, are you seeking a bench warrant?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Kiera Patrick. Hello, Ms. Patrick. Good morning. Who is representing Ms. Patrick?
I'm representing Ms. Patrick, Your Honor.
All right. You filed a waiver, so we just need to make sure, where is your? So Ms. Patrick, you have a bond that says you're supposed to stay away from a Ms. Weems. Do you know who I'm talking about? Okay. And some address on Delow Drive. Do you hang out near Delow Drive at all? Okay, well then you're gonna be able to handle your bond just fine. Did you get something in the mail telling you to be in court today? I have two different addresses for you. One of them is on Sylvan Road and the other is on Pine Glen Circle. That's a good one. Is that a house? Okay. And that's where the mail went saying you need to be here? Okay. And do you have good contact information for Ms. Rios? Okay, good. Then you guys are connected. Anything else, Ms. Rios, in connection with Ms. Patrick's case? Ms. Dilligard?
No, Judge.
All right, Ms. Patrick, you will not need to come back here again until either your lawyer has filed a motion that we need to have some kind of argument about and you'll want to be. Pardon me?
Oh, Judge, I was just confirming she's also on the add-on on a separate.
Oh, well, let's take care of both. So I don't say, wait, come back. Oh, look at that. You have a second case too. But I don't need to ask you all those same questions, except is Cyrita Patrick here? How do you say that person's first name? Cyrita. Same last name. Is that person related to you? How so? Your auntie. Do you see her in here? Okay, me neither. Okay, so you have two cases, but same situation. Just stay in touch with Ms. Rios. Did you file a waiver in the other case, Ms. Rios?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your lawyer's going to get discovery paperwork about your case. He's going to want to talk to you about it. And then you'll be back here either because there are motions that your lawyer wants to argue, or you guys have worked the cases out, or you want a trial. And then we'll get you in here. We'll get jurors in the jury box and we'll see if the state can prove its case. If you have questions about what's going on, reach out to Ms. Rios. And if for whatever reason you have to move, make sure you let Ms. Rios know you've got that new address. It's on you to let us know you've moved. We're going to keep sending things to that Sylvan Road address. And if you miss court, I got to sign a warrant, like I'm probably going to have to do for your auntie. You may want her to, insofar, you may not be allowed to talk with her. That may be a condition of your bond, but someone may want to let her know she missed court today.
She didn't know that she was supposed to be here.
Okay. If that's true, then we'll be able to clear all that up, but she's going to need to manage that, not you. That's your auntie's situation and not yours. Okay. Ms. Rios, anything else for Ms. Patrick?
No.
Ms. Patrick, any questions? All right. Thank you for being here. You can go. Alberto Trujillo Garcia. That's a big old bond he has.
Judge, they filed waiver and they were excused.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dilgard was just writing bench warrant down in big ink. All right. Waive and schedule. Justin Elder. Someone was gonna,
Judge, that's
Come-
also a waiver's been filed. Max Shart represents Mr. Elder now.
okay, yeah, his name is listed there. And I'm wondering if that's the guy. Someone was gonna have a drug court intake interview in our jury room today and then told drug court to buzz off. And it was Mr. Shart's client, but it somehow involves state court as well because Judge Taylor was in the mix. Is that this guy or?
Judge, I do believe so. Attorney Shart has reached out to me regarding this case. I thought it was behavioral.
Could be. It was an accountability court intake interview because they had said, "Hey, can we use your?" Of course, you can use the jury room. And then Mr. Elder said, "I'm not interested in that."
Oh.
So
Okay.
that Mr. Shart will need to manage that. But Ms. Wood, you're saying that there's a waiver?
Yes, Judge, I used to be filed into this case, so I got the notification when Mr. Shart filed it.
Got it. Okay. And Ms. Nelson, did we excuse Mr. Shart and Mr. Elder?
I did not, but I believe Ms. Hansberry may have had some conversation with Mr. Shard, but I did not confirm that he would not be present.
Okay. I know that he is actively involved in the case and Mr. Elder has been in contact with accountability court, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. We'll just get a scheduling order out. We'll jump to Kevion Beaufort. He has a lawyer now. Who got appointed to represent him?
I'll have to look right quick, Judge. I forgot.
I think it's Ms. Cabrera. You forwarded me some email traffic. Yeah, it's Ms. Cabrera. And she filed a waiver yesterday. That's pretty impressive. Middle of trial. Waive. I don't know that Mr. Beaufort was excused, but we'll see.
Judge, I think you had told him the last time that we would not bring him into court until we found an attorney that was actually going to be assigned.
Okay, then let's just do a scheduling order so that this case of many, many defendants can keep moving along. Thank you. Darshan Taylor. Hey, Mr. Taylor. You also have Ms. Cabrera as your lawyer. Have you had a chance to meet her yet? Not, oh, you talked on the phone? Okay, good. Well, you've heard me talk about her. She is clearly busy. She's got a bunch of clients and she's in trial in Douglas County right now. Let's see, you've got a co-defendant, Mr. Favors, who's represented by Ms. Rios, and you now have Ms. Cabrera, and she filed a waiver of arraignment and her entry of appearance just a couple days ago, which is good. That's her doing good work on your behalf. How did you know to be here today?
I got Hickman.
Do you live on Hickman? It doesn't say street or road or anything. It just says Hickman.
It's supposed to be street.
Okay. Is it 30311? Is it 30311?
Yes.
Okay. Then if you got something in the mail, it's going to you. Does Ms. Cabrera have your contact information? Okay. Any questions about anything? Let me check one more thing. You are supposed to be staying with your mom. Are you still doing that? Miss Farmer? And does she live at that address?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Done. If you don't have any questions, you're good to go. You'll get notice, and Ms. Cabrera will reach out to you next time you've got court. Quadine Hardison.
Judge, he's mine, and I think he is on the Zoom call with me as well.
There is a Quadine. Mr. Hardison, can you turn your phone on?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's get you on the screen. There you are. Let's get your lawyer on the screen. There she is. All right. Ms. Wood, have you done a waiver? You gonna do a waiver?
I filed the waiver on Monday, so we are waiving formal arraignment, entering a plea of not guilty, and moving forward.
All right. I don't know why these don't go to non-complex.
Oh, yeah, they used to, and then they changed it.
Mr. Hardison, you live in Douglasville?
I used to.
Okay. We're gonna need to get a new address for you. I've got Buffalo Court in Douglasville as to where we're gonna be sending mail. So if that's not a good address, you should get that to the good address you should share with Ms. Wood so she can file a change of address form.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. Where, you don't need to tell me the street address, but what city do you live in now?
Atlanta.
Okay. Closer to court. That's helpful. Your bond order. You're supposed to stay away from Garrett Wilbon. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Is that someone you're staying away from?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I've got. Ms. Dilligard, anything on behalf of the state?
No, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Wood, do you have good contact information for Mr. Hardison?
I do, Judge. And Mr. Hardison, if you could just shoot me an email with that new address, I'll get it filed for you today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You, Mr. Hardison, are free to go. Thank you. Just get that address to your lawyer.
Okay, we'll do now.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Kyrie Rhodes. Ms. Rios, is that yours?
Yes, Your Honor, he is mine. I haven't had contact.
All right. Bench warrant, Ms. Dilligard.
Judge.
Tyrek Gould. Hey, is it Tyrek or Tyreek? Tyreek. Are there two E's in it or it's just a really, really strong E? All right, Mr. Gould, I'm Judge McBurney. Ms. Wood is on the screen. You may be able to see, she's half the screen there. Let's make her the whole screen. Be easier for you to see her.
Judge, you don't have to do that.
Okay, half the screen is your lawyer, Ms. Wood. Have you spoken with Ms. Wood before? Not so sure? Okay, well, you're gonna get to know her. She represents you, and if we look up your case, Ms. Wood, will you be filing a waiver in this case?
I will, Judge. And if he could just write his contact information and share it with Ms. Rios, I think the number I have for him is actually a family member's, maybe his mom. So, but I will do a waiver today.
Great. I have an address for you of Church Street in Conley, Georgia.
Yeah, it changed.
Okay, so two things you need to do. Deputy Gordon is going to give you a change of address form. On that form, write whatever your new good address is. And then he's also going to give you a little note card. On that, you should write down your email, phone number, all the ways Ms. Wood, your lawyer, should be able to reach you. Okay? Do you have her phone number? Okay. Ms. Rios, are you able to get to Mr. Gould, Ms. Wood's phone number?
Yes.
Great. We'll do a trade. While he's filling that out, our last position is Catherine Tiggle, but there's no one else left in court. Ms. Rios, was Ms. Tiggle your case or is that Ms. Woods?
She's my judge, and I don't have any good numbers for her, unfortunately.
Okay. Bench warrant?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
All right. So to recap with bench warrants, that would be Elijah Jackson, still not in court. Kyrie Rhodes and Catherine Tiggle or Tiggles. Neither one is here. Oh, we do have also Cyrita Patrick will be a bench warrant. Is that your case, Ms. Nix?
I'm sorry, which one? It's 88 Clark.
Clark. Okay. Either way, Ms. Patrick is not here. And then, oh gosh, we've got two cases. Kwabena Omar Palmer. Oh, this is a co-defendant with Ms. Britton from,
Yes, co-defendant with Troy Britt.
Yeah, okay. Oh, let me make sure it's not one where Ms. Cabrera might have excused this person. Do what? Times White, okay. Ms. Nelson, did you receive any communication from Ms. Cabrera that she was somehow excusing Mr. Palmer?
I don't remember if she sent me an email regarding that, but I know she did waive arraignment regarding him.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do a bench warrant for Palmer. No?
I will, so I think he must have been so excused because I don't think he would miss before I knew they were co-defendants, he had been my contact for her to get her back in the fold, and he was really on it about, even got his uncle to make sure he was on the Zoom.
Oh, is his uncle the guy who's provided housing for them?
So I didn't know they were co-defendants until I was talking to him.
Oh.
And she can stay with you, and I'm
Okay.
gonna be talking to you. But I don't feel comfortable reaching out again, but just for this purposes, I think I can call him, tell him that he has support.
Okay.
Cause I don't want him, he's been so helpful.
Okay, I'm open to that. And he can just get on Zoom.
Okay, I'll just pop in the Zoom link.
Okay. All right, we'll hold off on that for a second. But we do have one more, Michael Chasner. More fleeing and attempting to elude. Not here. That'll be a bench warrant. Okay. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Gould, let me come back to your case. Did you get Ms. Wood's phone number?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you gave to Ms. Rios your contact information and she'll get it to Ms. Wood. Any questions for me?
What case is it?
You have so many, you're not sure which one this is?
Yeah. No, I ain't got any.
So I'll give you some specifics. Hold on. We'll see if it rings a bell. But that's not generally a good way to start the conversation. Which of my criminal cases is this? 6592. one of the last indictments of the year. And in it, it says that in May of 23, you brandished a gun and threatened to hurt Anthony Powell, or Powell Anthony. It actually says Powell Anthony. Oh, right, because I need to talk to you. Your condition of your bond is you got to stay away from that guy. He maybe is a coworker or something, because it said only accidental contact. Is it Anthony Powell or Powell Anthony?
We heard the other.
Okay. Well, anyway, you apparently, the allegation is you brandished a gun at him, and so that's aggravated assault. And then there's a second firearms charge because you had a gun in connection with the aggravated assault back in May of 23. I don't want you to talk to me about it. I just want you to know that's what the allegation is about. You and Mr. Anthony had some dust up in May of 23. And as part of your bond, you're supposed to basically leave him alone. You don't have to quit your job, but you don't have lunch with him. You certainly don't brandish a gun at him. Where do you work?
We work at FedEx.
Does he work at FedEx too?
Nah, that was at interview.
Oh, okay. So you guys were co-workers at the time.
Yeah.
He's gone his way, you've gone your way. All right. Did that answer your question, what the case is about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have more questions about it, you should reach out to Ms. Wood. You've got her number now. She's going to get the discovery in your case. So there'll probably be a witness statement from this guy and who knows what else is in there. And then you and Ms. Wood will figure out what to do. Okay? All right. You're good to go. So we are holding off on the bench warrant for Mr. Palmer.
Getting on, I just spoke with him.
Excellent.
Judge, may I be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
See ya. And then Ms. Kim, I think all we've got left is your case to take the plea with Ms. Harley. Do you need to talk to her? Nope. Okay. We'll get her out in just a moment. We're going to see if, in fact, why don't we bring her out and then we'll just pause should Mr. Palmer get on the screen. Ms. Nix, is this your case? Good. Otherwise, I thought maybe just keeping your successor company.
Although I'm happy to have someone.
Do you want to sit the podium or the table?
Unless Ms. Harley has a trouble standing situation, let's do the podium, please. Hey, Ms. Harley, if you come on up to the podium there and stand in front of that screen, please. And Ms. Just before you start, we're going to do one other thing and then we'll get going. Hey, are you Mr. Palmer? Oh, he just turned off. He's back. Are you Mr. Palmer?
Yes, sir, I am, Mr. McBurney.
All right. Are you driving or are you a passenger?
I'm a passenger. That's
Good.
the driver.
All right, good. Mr. Palmer, you have two cases in my courtroom. Ms. Cabrera represents you in both those cases. She's already filed a waiver of arraignment in both those cases, meaning she entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf to move the cases along. You are a co-defendant with Ms. Britton in one of the cases, and then you are an all-by-yourself defendant in the other case. And today was your arraignment day. So in theory, you should have been in court. You seem to be on the road somewhere. Are you at least in the state of Georgia?
I was actually on the way to court. I was waiting for my ride to come and get me.
Oh, well, your ride got you. You can turn around if you want, because seeing you is sufficient. Next time, you certainly will want to be here. Your lawyer is in trial in Douglas County and couldn't be here, so she filed some paperwork. You still needed to be here, just so that we would see you to get the cases kicked off, et cetera, since you're out on bond. But let me look up one thing to make sure. Did you get something in the mail about coming to court?
Yes, sir, I did. I had got it was two different letters, but they both was same.
Good. It'll always be two letters because you've got two cases. We don't have a sophisticated enough system to put both in there. So the address I've got for you is in Jonesboro. Is that where you are living now?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. So Ms. Rios, I'm a little confused. I know you don't represent Mr. Palmer, but Mr. Palmer is or isn't Ms. Britton's significant other?
He's her fiance.
Okay. But she's at the MLK address because they cannot be in the same place per the bond.
Yes.
It just so happens that the MLK address is Mr. Palmer's uncle's place.
Yes.
Got it. Is that correct, Mr. Palmer? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you known Ms. Britton?
I've been knowing her since I want to say 2020, but I got with her like in 2022.
Okay. Do you have any questions about either of your cases at this time?
No, sir. I'm just waiting to just go ahead and get the show on the road. Get it over.
Okay. Do you have a phone number for Ms. Cabrera?
Yes, sir, I do. I had talked to her already.
Good. Okay. Stay in touch with her. She'll let you know. She's going to want to meet with you. She's going to get the discovery in your two cases. She's going to want to sit down with you to go over all those materials. And then she'll let you know when you need to come back into court. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, Ride, for getting you partway to court.
Thank you, sir.
See you. All right. Sorry about that, Ms. Harley, but he was late and he popped up on the screen, so we figured we'd deal with that. Ms. Rivers, are you ready to get on the record?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. This is 23 SC 185642, State versus Samantha Harley. Ms. Harley is in court with her lawyer, Ms. Kim. Ms. Nix is here for the state. And Ms. Harley, Ms. Kim shared with me via email that you're prepared to enter a plea in your case. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Nix is going to put you under oath in just a moment and then ask you a bunch of questions about your rights as a criminal defendant, things you and Ms. Kim have already talked about. Please let me or Ms. Kim know if at any point you've got your own question. Okay?
Okay.
Hold on one second. You both can go. Thank you. See you around. Don't look so anxious. Bye. Okay. So as long as you'll interrupt us if there's something that confuses you or you don't understand, then Ms. Nix can get us started.
Okay.
Ms. Harley, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statements or testimony that you shall give in the matter currently before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Put your hand up.
Yeah. Please state your true, correct, and legal name.
Samantha J. Harley?
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any medicine, drugs, or alcohol?
No.
Is there a medication that you normally take that you have not taken or been given today?
No.
How old are you?
37.
How far have you gone in school?
11th.
Is English your native or dominant language?
Yes.
Do you understand that you've been charged with the following offenses? Count 1 is aggravated stalking, disorderly conduct, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers.
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you plead not guilty or remain silent and refuse to enter any plea at all, then the state is required to prove the charges against you at a jury trial?
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to review your rights with your attorney?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney about all of the charges in this indictment against you, including the facts and circumstances relating to each charge?
Yes.
Do you need more time to discuss the case with your lawyer, Ms. Kim?
No.
Are you satisfied with her services?
Yes.
Ms. Kim, do you waive a formal reading of the indictment for purposes of the plea?
Yes.
And do you waive any null defects in the indictment for purposes of the plea?
Yes.
Ms. Harley, do you remember having been arrested on these charges?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge to which you're pleading guilty today?
Yes.
You understand that today you're entering a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend the following sentence to the court. As to count 1, aggravated stalking, the state recommends a sentence of 8 years of probation.
Yeah.
As to count 2, disorderly conduct, state recommends 12 months of probation to run concurrent with count 1.
Yes.
The count 3, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. State recommends a 12-month sentence, probated, to run concurrent with counts 1 and 2.
Yes.
Special conditions are a permanent no contact order with Alicia Burrows, that's Elisia Burrows, common spelling, and that you submit to a drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment.
Yes.
You understand that the court is not required to accept the state's recommended sentence?
Yes.
You understand that the court has the right to sentence you to the maximum possible sentence on each charge?
Yes.
You understand that since there are multiple charges to which you're pleading guilty, the court also has the right to run those sentences consecutively?
Yes.
You understand that if the court decides to order a sentence that differs from the negotiated plea you were expecting today, you do not have the right to withdraw your plea of guilty?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation or parole anywhere?
Clayton County.
You understand that if you're that your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering a guilty plea today?
I don't understand that.
This could be used against you in Clayton County.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen, and I'll learn a little bit from Ms. Simpson, who is with probation, about what the Clayton County case is, how much time remains, et cetera. But in theory, and it also depends on dates. If your Clayton case happened 6 months ago.
It happened 2020.
Okay, so it was before this situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So this could be a basis for Clayton County to say, we're going to revoke some time. But they might also say, look, you served 120 days here and you're going to be on more probation. Ms. Nix's point is simply, none of us in this room controls what a judge in Clayton County does.
Right,
You
I
understand?
understand now.
Okay.
You understand that if you are placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes.
Do you understand that while you're on probation, you must follow all the special conditions of your probation?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you fail to follow all the special conditions of your probation, then you'll be subject to revocation of that probation for the balance of your sentence?
Yes.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, you may not receive, possess, or transport a firearm?
Yes.
Do you understand that doing so could result in new criminal charges for which you face a sentence of up to 5 years?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, you also may not use a firearm in a crime in the future?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you were in the future to use a firearm during the commission of a crime, you would face a 15-year custodial sentence consecutive to the sentence for the underlying crime?
Yes.
Do you understand that by entering a plea of guilty today, you are waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights?
Yes.
The right to a trial by jury, to remain silent, to confront witnesses against you, to the assistance of counsel, to the presumption of innocence, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at trial?
Yes.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
How do you plead to the charges of aggravated stalking, disorderly conduct, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers
Yes.
in indictment number 23 SC 185642?
Yes.
Question is, how do you plead? So guilty or not guilty?
How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty? Okay.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you wish to challenge the voluntariness of your guilty plea, you must do so by filing a habeas corpus petition?
Yes.
You understand for the felony, you have only 4 years from today to do so, and for the misdemeanors, you have only 12 months from today to do so?
Yes.
Judge, had this case gone to trial, the state would expect the evidence to show that on or about February 2nd of 2022, the defendant, after having been served with a temporary protective order, which was case number 2022 CV 359792, which prevented the defendant from contacting Alicia Burrows, that's Elisia Burrows, She did go to the residence of Miss Burrows, which she was prevented from doing. And this is an apartment complex. The defendant was observed at this complex at the door of Miss Burrows' apartment by a person that works at the apartment complex. And when officers arrived to address the situation, the defendant was still on scene and was acting in a violent and tumultuous manner towards the officer that is Officer Gikanga. That's Gikanga, where Officer Gikanga was placed in reasonable fear of his property being damaged or destroyed. Officer Gikanga was acting in the lawful discharge of his duties, and Ms. Harley ignored his instruction, pulled away, and resisted his lawful arrest of her for aggravated stalking. And this all occurred in Fulton County.
All right. And I know there was a dragnet put out to track down Ms. Burrows. Any sense of whether she's been contacted to be apprised of how Ms. Harley's case is being resolved?
Yes, we have let her know what is going on. She does not live in Georgia. And originally, part of this offer was to include restitution. We were able to confirm that there is no restitution. We were able to let her know what's going on with the case and keep her apprised of what's going on.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much. Good morning, Ms. Jackson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can you please share criminal history information, if any, for Ms. Harley?
Yes. There are 14 cycles. The last arrest was December the 16th, 2022 in DeKalb County for battery, family violence. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does appear to be on first offender probation in Clayton County for felony obstruction of an officer. That disposition date was October the 7th, 2020, and the term is for 5 years. She does have a misdemeanor sentence and a conviction. So in 2000, she received a nolo contendere sentence in 2019 out of Clayton County for giving false information to an officer. And there was a conviction in 2014 out of New York for petty larceny. And nothing in addition, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Kim.
Judge, we would ask that the please negotiated, but I was wondering if you would allow her maybe to readdress her sentence maybe in 3 years. If she's successful, doesn't think of any new charges. My understanding, the named victim actually moved to New York City and was living in a homeless shelter. She doesn't reside here, as Ms. Nick said. So they've had no contact with each other, and I believe I think the permanent restraining order is fine for her.
Okay. Ms. Harley, anything you want? I have a few questions for you, but anything you want to add to the situation?
No, I'm just ready for it to be over with.
Okay, I bet you are. This is now 3 years old. Were you and Ms. Burrows at some point an item? Is that how you knew her, or you?
Yeah,
were
we was together for 6 years.
Okay, so you've known each other for a while.
From New York to Georgia together.
Okay.
And things wasn't. It was just we was just clashing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you have New York connections. I noted one of your misdemeanors was something from New York in 2014. Are you originally from New York?
Yeah.
Okay. What brought you and Ms. Burrows to Atlanta?
Well, I came to Atlanta first, and then I had to go back home, and that's when I met her, and then we came down here together because her lease was about to be up in New York.
What brought you to Atlanta the first time?
I wanted something different. I've been in New York all my life.
Okay. Do you plan on staying in Georgia?
Yeah, I'm not going back to New York.
Okay.
It's too expensive.
Okay, it is expensive. When's the last time you spoke with Ms. Burrows?
I don't even remember. It's been a long time.
Okay. Do you all have shared friends?
No.
Your case out of Clayton County was felony obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Ms. Simpson, is there a warrant for that? So you'll be going to Clayton next. We'll wrap things up today, and the sentence I'm going to impose will not keep you in jail on this case any longer.
Okay.
But you won't get out today.
I know.
They'll call Clayton, and Clayton has some number of hours. It's not a bunch, but they have to get you. Don't quote me on it. 3 days, 4 days.
Okay.
If they don't, then Fulton's going to say, if you're not going to come pick her up, we're going to let her go because we don't have any reason to hold her. The only reason to hold Ms. Harley is the Clayton County hold.
Okay.
So I just don't want you to think that tomorrow you'll be out in the fresh air. You got to go to Clayton. And it sounds like the warrant is all in connection with this. And so they'll be looking to what we did to say, is there going to be any additional consequence down in Clayton County? You got a first offender sentence there. So it could be that they take away your first offender status and resentence you. Maybe along these lines. We'll see what happens. But it sounds like you understand your next stop is Clayton.
Yeah.
When you get out, do you have a place to stay?
Yeah.
Why do you think you've been in for a little bit? Why do you think you have?
Because my family's out here.
Okay.
My sister, my grandmother, I got family out here.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Ms. Simpson, my math is that there ought to be not a whole lot of time left.
Yes, her Clayton County case expires October 6th of this year.
Okay. So well, except it's a first offender. Although I think for felony obstruction, that's a 5-year offense anyway. So if they resentence, it sounds like, again, don't quote me on it, but the worst case scenario for you with your Clayton case is they'd say, we're revoking your balance, which you just heard what Ms. Simpson had to say. That's only 7 months. Now, I don't mean to suggest 7 months is a short amount of time, but that's as bad as it would get.
Mm-hmm.
So that's better than, hey, you have 10 years left and they're going to figure out what to do. Okay. Did you have a question?
Not no more. You answered it.
All right. Ms. Kim, can someone in my office sign the indictment on your behalf?
Oh, yes, please.
Ms. Nix?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Burrows, can we electronically, not Ms. Burrows, Ms. Harley, can we electronically sign your name to the indictment? We'll do that. Do you have a weapons carry license?
No.
I find there's a factual basis for your plea. That protective order meant you had to stay away. You didn't. I'm curious, that day, had you been drinking anything or anything like that? Or like, why would you show up knowing you weren't supposed to be there?
That was our apartment.
So you felt like you were going back to your space?
No, when she changed the locks, I didn't know she changed the locks. So when she changed the locks, the leasing lady gave me another copy. But I wanted to move some of my stuff out, and I was upstairs with the neighbor. So when my father was ordering me to U-Haul to get the bed, that's when the cops came. I guess she was watching from the window what I was doing or whatever, and she called the cops again.
Okay.
But I wasn't standing in front of the door doing all of that, no.
Okay. All right. I still find there's a factual basis. It needed to have been arranged a different way, so you weren't around her in any way.
Right.
I also find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Knowing means you've understood what we talked about, and when you didn't, you asked a question. And voluntary means no one's forcing you to enter this plea. You've decided after consulting with Ms. Kim that is the way you want to go. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I'm sentencing you pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act. All that means is that while you're on probation, if you have a minor violation, like missing a meeting, you and probation can work through that. They don't have to get me involved. But if you get arrested for anything, or it turns out Ms. Burrows moves back here or you shouldn't even have to move back here. Any evidence that you are contacting her, trying to contact her, text messages to her, posting something on social media, Alicia, write to me, or I'm gonna break your neck, anything, that's gonna lose you some probation time.
That's fine, I'm not contacting her.
Good, you got the message. I'm gonna sentence you on count 1 to 6 years of probation that will run consecutive to count 2, which will be 3 months to serve, and count 3, which will be 3 months to serve. Those two will run concurrently with each other. So it's a total sentence of 6 years and 3 months. You have served 120 something days, which is more than 3 months, which means they'll send you to Clayton, or Clayton will come pick you up after I sign your final disposition. But you will be on probation for 6 years. Now that clock's going to start running even while you're down in Clayton. So if for whatever reason you're in Clayton for 6 months, you're also earning 6 months credit on your Fulton County probation. Special condition number 1 of your probation is no contact in any form whatsoever with Ms. Burrows, and no indirect contact. So if you've got, that's why I asked about shared friends. If you've got this friend Phyllis who knows her, you don't say, hey, Phyllis, just let her know I miss her, or that I'm gonna break her kneecap if I see her again.
Yeah, I got you.
No, don't get word to her through anyone. Number 2, when you do get out, you're going to have a drug and alcohol abuse evaluation. That's just a professional talking to you about what do you put in your system and why and how often. And if that person thinks you benefit from going to AA classes or NA or who knows what, that treatment becomes part of your sentence. If there's no issues, there's no treatment.
Okay.
What do you think about getting your GED?
That's what I was doing all of that before this happened.
Done. It's going to be part of your probation, that you get your GED. And in fact, within the first 3 months of you being out, you need to have enrolled in a GED course.
Okay.
So enroll in a GED course within first 3 months of release. I will set a behavioral incentive date of February 28th, 2028. That is 3 years from today. If you've gotten your GED, you have not bothered Ms. Burrows, you stayed clean, all that kind of stuff, and not gotten arrested for anything, probation will be empowered to say, let's close this. We're wasting our time bothering Ms. Harley because we got people who are a handful. Don't be a handful. And then this can close out half of your sentence. Instead of 6 years, it would be 3 years. Okay? But that's on you, not on Ms. Kim or anyone else.
All right.
Ms. Nix, anything else on behalf of the state?
No, sir.
Ms. Kim? Ms. Harley, any questions? Any questions about anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, listen to Ms. Simpson. She's going to give you some reporting instructions.
Okay.
So, Ms. Harley, what you're gonna need to do is within 48 hours from when you're released, you need to report to the Atlanta office, which is 276 Memorial Drive. It's about 5 minutes from here. Just make sure you report there at 8
Okay. Okay. Is it the one by ACDC?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's just a little ways down the street from ACDC.
Yeah, I see it from where I'm sleeping. I see it.
Well, there you go. Now you know where to go. But you're going to Clayton first. And so when you get out of Clayton, you'll need to report to that place. If there's still some of your Clayton probation left, it'll all be supervised with one officer. You're not going to have to go to Clayton and Fulton. They consolidate all that under one roof.
So can they put like the rest of the probation on this probation?
That's how it'll work. It'll run at the same time. Your Clayton clock has been running the whole time you've been in here, which is why there are only 7 months left. And your Fulton clock will start running
When I leave this courtroom.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's 6 years. So that's why I was saying, let's say it takes 6 months to sort out what Clayton's going to do. Those 6 months are also all part of your Fulton. It's a half a year of the first 3 years of what you need to do staying out of trouble.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.
Good luck.
Judge, would be excused?
You may.
Ladies
Thank you,
and
Ms. Jackson. Thank you, Ms. Rivers. Ms. Nelson, Deputy Gordon asked if we had something at 1:30 with a juvenile. I don't have anything on any calendar about that. Does that ring a bell with you?
It does not. What juvenile is he talking about? Does he know?
Do you got that piece of paper again? We're gonna look it up. Better yet, did you have a case number? It's just a name. Okay, what's the name?
Owens.
Owens?
You need me to get this to the clerk, I can?
No, just sit tight for 1 second. And because I don't know who this person is. There's a murder case. Antoine Owens, 24 SC 006518. And he is a juvenile, but his plea in arraignment is March 11th. So if he was brought over today, they need to send him back. He is on our calendar for March 11th. And he has Mr. Kraft. False alarm, Ms. Nelson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I've got, for the rest of the day, we've got that motion for summary judgment hearing in the afternoon. And then I don't know how we're going to do this, a conference call with Ms. Cabrera on the Tuitt case.
I've reached out to her to see if she's able to do it still. I have not gotten a response.
Okay, I'll be here. I'll get on the Zoom and Mr. Abate and I can stare at each other for a little bit. We'll figure it out.
I'll see you later.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you. Have a great one, Judge.
Bye.
Judge McBurney.
Give me 1 second.